Hi, this is Mia Get Real. It is taking me forever, and all my blankets have slipped off the side of the bed, and they're super heavy. I gotta go to the freaking laundromat to wash the big blanket. I might just stick it in there, but it's like super big. I'm like really scared. I'm gonna do that tomorrow morning. So it'd be like maybe 9 a.m. I have a roll of quarters and just use my roll of quarters. So I'm gonna weigh in, and I was making a video this morning, and then I had to go, so I never weighed in. I did make my lemonade, but I can't drink it because we were trying to do some banking stuff. I've been trying to get my son a debit card from a major bank for over a year, and it's like, okay, we had one, and we called it online account, so it's like, you throw down $50 into that account so the kids could buy stuff online. That way, if something got hacked or the kids didn't say, "Oh, I have $300, let me spend it all," and they closed those accounts for both kids. So then they had to use their actual checking account. One kid is out and about all the time, so she has hers, but the other one, they discontinued his debit card or something. I'm gonna go look downstairs for it, and I just finally called, and they're like, they were open, but they're like, "Oh, this is a new account thing. We're gonna have to um, get you over to a different department." Like, "Oh, it's President's Day, they're not open." So I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Hey, did you know you could do it online?" I was like, "Yeah, I tried that first. I went to the bank and I called more than once. And before they didn't, they wouldn't, oh, I forgot I was doing that. They wouldn't do it because my son, even though I opened the account for my son who is a minor, under 18, a long time ago, they wouldn't let me get the card until he came into the bank or until he called. He doesn't even have online access to it. If I did anything online, I would have to do it online. Like, I'd have to do it myself because he doesn't. Like, so it's stupid. I think when people are under 18 and your account is set up with your mom, as like it has both of our names on the account, I should be able to order the card under his name. Like, I don't know. Like, if he's over 18 and he gets permission for me to do stuff, then I also think that. But they're just giving me a hard time. So I was like, I literally had to move some money into a different account for him, to a different bank completely. I tell these customer service, they're not going to care. But I'm telling you, I'm not telling you what bank it is, but yeah, it has some little pocket change in there. I'm not a high income person, but I also like, this is not, I'm not on the downhill of my life for income. It's going up, and despite my complaints. Um, so hold on, I gotta stand still for 13 more seconds. I really want my drink. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay. I was like totally like wiggling, dancing for no reason because there ain't no music on. Oh, I did better though, despite all of that fidgeting. I Okay, so I told you I watched the movie Regular Lovers. In French, it sounds much more romantic, and it was about Paris. If you look it up, it's about 2 hours and 55 minutes, and um it's in black and white, but it's a fairly recent show, I believe. Maybe 2004 or maybe 2014. I don't know. It's supposed to be about the 60s, so it was hard for me to understand the culture, but it almost, a lot of it reflected U.S. like culture, and that really weirded me out, because I could see a correlation with the arts and with the protests and youth and even the music and dancing. I could really see a correlation between the Western world. during the 60s and 70s. I think that was all I had to do. Stand up. And I told you guys, which I might not have posted videos. I'm going to post yesterday's video right now. I don't even know if I posted it yet. Thank you, God, for this lemonade. Keeps my body happy and healthy all day long. Bon appetit. A whole bunch of really weird suggestions came up on YouTube. It's like, oh, it's because I'm not signed in. I'm like, what the heck happened to my computer? AVG took over my computer, and I definitely do not like it. I don't even want to go to that one. I'm like concerned right now. Your body is negative 18 years on the 18th, which I just wrote down that it was the 19th. Like, oh. Let's try it on the non-AVG. This is frozen. My computer is frozen. So I got up at 6 something, made chicken and rice, like 2 pieces of chicken and chicken and rice for my son, and then at like 8:20, they're like, "What's this food doing?" And like, oh my god, it's been in the oven for over an hour, like in the oven, in the toaster oven, so it wasn't actually on. I felt like such an idiot. So this is what I could do. I could put this stuff on the floor and take the dresser out of here and move the bed over, and then put the turntable stuff on the floor and pull that dresser out and put that dresser here. And then that would need to go downstairs where the kitchen is. I should actually measure that right now. So I have 2 fold down shelves, so I'm thinking of folding down this shelf and the other shelf, but they're all full of stuff. So if I fold down 2 shelves and get rid of the dresser, and then pull the entertainment center out of my daughter's room and stick it. Wait, where's the entertainment center go? If I have a dresser, so I set the entertainment center here, and then the dresser there. Put the TV on the entertainment center. Because if I could just have the dresser be a dresser, like have the dresser just have a jewelry box, a lamp, and then like a little mirror set or something. I threw out the mirror that went with that dresser. It was actually the original mirror that went with that dresser, which is like vintage. That was so stupid. So I repeat myself a lot because I know I'm repeating myself, okay guys? I don't this lady's, oh no, this lady had a miscarriage. Oh no, this is like a lot of YouTubers having miscarriages. I was waiting for her to have a baby. No, 17 hours ago. Oh no. Pretty much Michael Ehrlich's detailed grisly crime. That was just, I think, a drug-induced psychosis that caused that murder. This guy is not necessarily like a murderer type. It's just sometimes the control, the power, the drugs, and you're basically getting a fight with somebody. If you fight someone, bonk over their head, and you're like, okay, now what do we do? Call the cops? Oh, can't ambulance? Like, when I was not sober, when people were hurt, the last thing we wanted to do was, like, for all of our sake, everybody was under the influence. The last thing we wanted to do was call the cops or call an ambulance. Like, we were just kind of like, took care of the people, like, try to take care of ourselves. But when you're partying, that happened to me. I probably should have had an ambulance called on me when I had been probably slipped GHB, or I should have at least gotten out of that place. Everybody wanted to party. Right? Like, it would only take less than an hour to get someone some medical help. But you don't want to attract attention and have the cops shut down your party. So this says the 18th. I don't remember filming this morning. Okay, I must have. So this is after. I was gonna say at evening. I'll say later Sunday. Alright, so you guys are gonna help me right now. And while I do this, I'm gonna pray for this. So it's Love Always by Stuff. I'm gonna pray in my mind, and I'll do it out loud, but I'll do it in my mind. So I'm gonna say, later in the day, Sunday, check in. Let's say day off. So I have a piece of paper. I'm gonna light this candle. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Alright, so I'm gonna have to be careful holding this metal where the flame is. Hold on. This new child safety really kind of dropped me a little bit wild too. This stuff, some of the stuff I have to go downstairs. I threw away the other, I'm gonna light two candles. I only have one. Oh, this one's burnt up. I threw away the other, candle. It's gone. I had the type button thing from my old sponsor. It's just gone. You know what I would do? I had to go to the laundromat today. I just missed the garbage. 2 orange pills. Alright, so I'm gonna go and find. I have this note card. Oh, I forgot that was on. I have this note card that I just wrote on. And I found my book, thank God. And alright, so I need bare minimum to make an extra $1,000 a month on top of what I've been making before I stopped working Mondays at my pizza job. I need $1,000 a month. Okay. Translated in today's economy, that means I need $2,000 a month. Let me grab a pencil. This one back here. I need $2,000 a month. In addition to what I have, just to live, just to maintain the cost of living. I've gone through my savings, back to counting. You'll see me counting pennies and change. You know, you see me carrying around these ridiculous bags. Oh yeah, the other bank wasn't going to be open today either. So I'm going to pray out loud. I got ashes all over my earrings. Ash is a good source of antimicrobial. Dear God, I pray for Steph and her husband. I know that she was excited last year or the year before about getting married, and they moved, and she's an internet sensation, a YouTube sensation, and she helped motivate me with the sales. She sells luxury items, whereas I don't sell luxury items. And I really feel, God, I almost felt like I should have prayed for her because she had mentioned some medical condition. I believe that was her that mentioned medical condition. And I get disappointed for not having a partner. I get disappointed for not getting pregnant if I have a partner with more than 2 children. So it's a whole different ball game when A, you have a health condition, and or B, you have a viable embryo that's kaput. And God, I believe that these unborn children will go to heaven with you, but it's too much, too full of fetuses, too full. And this lady is beautiful. She has a big, loving family, and I pray that she can have a child. I knew someone had repeat miscarriages during med school, and she kept having to do the dilate and DNC, dilate and cyclage, or cyclage, not cyclage, cure, open up and cut everything out. I just dropped something. DNC, and I just feel, I wondered if that person, she was older, she looked older, she might not have been older, she looked a lot older than a 20-something, and I felt like I would, if I was older, I would almost consider taking time off of school, like 9 months off of school, just to procreate. But, like, the thing about being married, they have sperm donor, like, it's sad. They can try. If I were to do something now, I'd heavily for years looked into artificial insemination because I've been single forever, and I wanted to have another child. My kids would think I'm nuts. I would have to pay money and hire somebody, or my friend once told me just go to a bar and pick up a drunk guy. I wouldn't be able to just be like, oh, I have a partner, let's make a baby. And at my age, a lot of partners, this, potential partners or partners would be like, dude, either. As a dude, they could have a kid, they could have a kid with a 40-something, they could have a kid with a 20-year-old. It doesn't matter if he's 40 or 50 or 38. But for me, but one thing is like, you're going to be 60-something. Anyways, God, I've thought about the lack of having a relationship and having my biological clock tick, but to have a living embryo die, and you're excited and you test positive for pregnancy, and you're working with the OB-GYN, and then all of a sudden it's, and I'm trained as a midwife, and so I do have patients that, and I had done the ultrasound, or the audio ultrasound, so we couldn't see it. Where I was like, I had a lot of practice for years doing ultrasound, and I was hoping that it was beginners not finding the heartbeat and not And one specific time, I remember it was, there was no more viable heartbeat. And what's sad is their first trimester symptoms that they were struggling with were relieved. And that was a huge red flag, because they had this misery, and then all of a sudden everything, they had this misery, and then all of a sudden everything, everything went away suddenly. When they were excited, but it was the wrong reason. It wasn't because it was the second trimester, it was because of it. So I pray, God, that you guide this family to deal with the hurt and pain. I didn't watch the video. I'm assuming that it's hurtful and painful, because I wouldn't see it any other way. Even being a woman of faith, I would be crying if that happened to me. And I pray that they take the time to reflect on their relationship. Like, God's will be done, right? Not Mia's will. And that they can have a successful pregnancy soon. Because even when you think somebody's 20-something, this computer's overheating. When you think that somebody's 20-something, you're then 30-something, then you're then 40-something. Like, you, people sometimes try, and I hear a lot of miracles. I worked with a perinatologist. There's a lot of miracles. Oh my God, this incense smells so good. Like, my shoulders just relaxed. So one thing, in Jesus' name I pray for them, Jesus' name. One thing I want to say is that I forgot. Oh yeah, in the movie that I keep talking about, it took me several days to watch it. Loving Regular Lovers. There's a lot of opium smoking in it, and I forgot to finish publishing my video. Hold on. There's a lot of opium and a little bit of pot, and it could be triggering when you see how relaxed these characters appear and how much smoke is. I told you guys I love smoke, and I used to smoke, and I don't like cigarette, and they just drain my energy, but I was still addicted. It smells like burning. It is burning. Like, right now I feel kind of guilty because it's like everything is smoky in my house, but it smells so good. And I do have sage that I just bought on Valentine's Day, so I had my 3 or 4 gifts I bought myself. I should have just bought the kids some candy and made some Rice Krispie treats, put some of those cinnamon hearts in them. I'm going to go back to reading this because I'm overwhelmed with, I feel like it's drama gossip. Like, I'm overwhelmed with this YouTuber, and I'm mad at myself for being mad. Someone said, this dude, guys, they sometimes just say just the right thing, and women will just say cruel things, and guys sometimes are just straightforward. They tell you the truth even if you don't want to hear the truth. But this one guy's like, you're dating, why are you upset, why are you crying, you should be happy, it should be a fun thing. Like, Yeah, right. It should. It's putting in perspective again. It's a luxury problem. I've been doing an experiment, the dating experiment, but then being an author, I'm just like emotional about everything now. Like I just feel so bad for that lady. Because I watched another video the other day where they were trying to get pregnant for a long time. She's like, well, we had 3. She goes, we had 3 miscarriages. Like, there's really actually 4. I didn't count that one. And then someone said something about something. And this was 2 years ago. Another YouTuber said interracial couple. And she goes, oh, don't worry, I'm pregnant now. Or we're pregnant now. And I didn't see anywhere in the videos that I didn't look that she actually had a baby. So this week, I keep seeing all these miscarriage. Like, a lot of people that get abortions, and I was reading on Oprah magazine all day yesterday. That's how I spent my day in the library. And they're talking about this company. I'm going to contact them and ask for a job. Like, I'm at the point where it's like, I need God's guidance, but I'm going to be willing to relocate. There's a job for 2 weeks in California. I'm not licensed in California. I'm going to look at the requirements. It's only for a couple of weeks, 5 days a week as a naturopath. You could be like a nurse practitioner or something. I don't know, something kind of nurse. I think it's the end of February. I was like, I'm still trying to get my Washington license. I'm going to look into it. I don't know if I saved it on Indeed, but it's only temporary. I'd be willing. I was going to go do shadow. My teacher's daughter does births in a hospital in California. He said anytime you want to go down there, you could go. And I might actually contact this guy, Steve Gardner, and ask. And we were talking about clogs, or Crocs, or something. Whatever shoes that clogs or Crocs. How many pairs of shoes she has to go through because of the blood from the operating or from the OR. Like, ew. I think I used shadow in the OR. I wasn't close enough to have blood splashing all over it. And I wasn't in there 40 hours a week either, and blood splashed all over my shoes. So the experiment as a writer was to find out what love was, but I was doing my research through other people, through the books, this is probably the only book besides the love stories, through movies and TV shows like Good Witch I had borrowed. And I took everything, I forgot to take that back in this movie book, so I can do that by tomorrow. And then the Christmas stories, and then I still have a feng shui. And I have some more books from Washington. I have like so many books, guys, it's getting out of control. And I did find this one, which I was digging through my car. I'm about 3/4 or 2/3 of the way through with that, and I would love to finish it. God told me to rest today, and I want to be all motivated to do stuff. From The Art of Loving, Chapter 2, page 7, The Theory of Love. 1. Love, the answer to the problem of human existence. Any theory of love must begin with the theory of man, of human existence. While we find love, or rather the equivalent of love, in animals, their attachments are mainly a part of their instinctual equipment. Only remnants of this instinctual equipment can be seen operating in man. What is essential in the existence of man is the fact that he has emerged from the animal kingdom, from instinctive adaptation, that he has transcended nature. Although he never leaves it, he is part of it. And yet, once torn away from nature, he cannot return to it. What started out of paradise is a state of original oneness with nature. Webster! Like a deeper dictionary, I don't know where it is. Cherubim, Cherubim, with flaming swords block his way. Oh, that sounds like on the Is there a movie, The Crystal Method, or not? Or is it the Never Ending Story where they have that guy in trance? Oh my god. Or is that the song from The Crystal Method in a movie where they have that guy? There's two like white statues that are blocking that entrance. Oh my god, that movie scared me. Woo! So maybe starts if he should try to return, man can only go forward by developing his reason, by finding a new harmony, a human one, instead of the pre-human harmony, which is irretrievably lost. So I'm going to turn this off for now, because I have other people and animals in my house. When man is born, the human race as well as the individual, he is thrown out of a situation which was definite as the instincts. Into a situation which is indefinite, uncertain, and open. There's certainly page 8. Certainly only about the past. There is certainty only about the past, and about the future only as far as that is death. Man is gifted with reason. He has life being aware of itself. He has awareness of himself, of his fellow man, of his past, and of the possibilities of his future. This awareness of himself as a separate entity, the awareness of his own short lifespan, of the fact that without his will he is born, and against his will he dies. That he will die before those whom he loves, or they before him. The awareness of his aloneness and separateness, of his helplessness before the forces of nature and of society. All this makes his separate, disunited existence an unbearable prison. He would become insane could he not liberate himself from this prison and reach out, unite himself in some form or other with men, with the outside world, or the world outside. The experience of separateness arouses anxiety. It is indeed the source of all anxiety. Being separate means being cut off without any capacity to use my human powers. Hence, to be separate means to be helpless, unable to grasp the world, things, and people actively. It means that the world can invade me without my ability to react. Thus, separateness is the source of intense anxiety. Beyond that, it arouses shame and the feeling of guilt. This experience of guilt and shame and separateness is expressed in the biblical story of Adam and Eve. After Adam and Eve have eaten of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, after they have disobeyed, there is no good and evil unless there is freedom to disobey. After they have become human by having emancipated themselves from original animal harmony with nature, i.e., after the birth as human beings, they saw that they were naked, and they were ashamed. Should we assume that a myth as old and elementary as this, as the prudish morals of the 19th century outlook, and that the important point the story wants to convey to us, page 9, is the embarrassment that their genitals were visible? This can hardly be so, and by understanding the story in a Victorian spirit, we miss the main point, which seems to be the following. After man and woman have become aware of themselves and of each other, they are aware of their separateness and of their difference, and so much as they belong to different sexes. But while recognizing their separateness, they remain strangers, because they have not yet learned to love one another. As is also made very clear by the fact that Adam defends himself by blaming Eve, rather than trying to defend her. The awareness of human separation without reunion by love is the source of shame. I'm going to read that again. It's in italics. The awareness of human separation without reunion by love is the source of shame. It is at the same time the source of guilt and anxiety. I'm going to stop in the middle of page 9. Several more pages. This chapter looks like Yeah, this is a lot of pages. Let's see if I can get through here. Actually, there's like a lot of pages. There's about 60 something pages of that chapter. Okay, so I put my nifty little, I gotta find that thing so I can put the string in there. My nifty little bookmarks. Again, that's The Art of Loving by Erich Fromm. And let's reflect. I just wanted to add, biblically, Adam and Eve. Eve was tricked by the serpent about being as knowledgeable as God by eating of the fruit. So God had told them both not to touch that tree of knowledge. The serpent came up to Eve when Adam wasn't around and convinced her to be as wise as God, and that he was tricking them by not letting them be knowledgeable. So that noticing that they were naked was that knowledge. And I haven't seen this in the Bible. And so when I quote the Bible and I don't see it, I will tell you that it's from some other teaching. I'll jump to that. But Adam and Eve had covered up, and God comes in. God used to walk in the garden with them in form, I guess. Cause, yeah, Adam was made in the likeness of God. Adam is a man, and Eve was made out of Adam's rib, and Eve is the likeness of man, but woman, so that their parts their sexual organs could fit together, and that she could have breasts to nurse her kids and whatever other things she has, because he was strong and she's soft. And God noticed that there was something wrong when they were ashamed of their nudeness, of their, yeah, like the guy said, their separateness, for their nudity, but they also are different genders. And so it's like, this does not hold the smell, by the way, guys. So it's like, I need to drink a lot of water too for some reason. What else did he say about Adam and Eve? Oh, Adam blamed Eve. God made it, and a lot of people, feminists, would be mad about this religion, Christianity, or I guess even if Jewish people believe it, or even Muslims having women being at a certain level under men. I was reading about the Somali supermodel. I was talking about her hijab. I should have written down her name. There is a separation in the Bible where that happened, and Eve was now having menstrual cramps. She had to be, instead of being kind of equal with Adam, and she was foolish, she was put that Adam was now in charge of woman. Man was thou. So husband was in charge of wife because she did a foolish thing. And then that also made childbirth very painful. And it also took them out where they could have any fruit in the garden. So if you go back and read Genesis, they had to be banished from the Garden of Eden. They had to close, and they had now to work the land. And not even just harvest wild fruits and vegetables. They had to make gardens and spend their life now to sustain their nutrition. They had to weed the gardens. And if you jump ahead to Proverbs, the lazy man lets his weeds grow up in his garden or his farm, and his rock wall falls down. And then if you jump ahead, I have like these things that jump like Adam and Eve to this, to this, to this. Like Ruth would jump to the birth of Christ. So all those people were obedient or disobedient. They learned from their mistakes, and they were banished, and they were punished by Old Testament God. The serpent knows that Jesus is, that God is all-knowing. And the serpent is like, in my opinion, the devil, Satan. And Satan is a fallen angel in God. He wants to be as powerful as God. So this serpent had already convicted this woman. But the problem is it wasn't just Eve who ate the fruit. her sexiness convinced her husband to eat the fruit. What would happen if Adam hadn't eat it? So he can't blame her for the seduction in the kind of like, oh, if you open this box, good things are going to come. He can't blame her because he ate it himself too. But she got tricked. It was like when you think of a pyramid scheme, you get dollar signs like, oh, all you have to do is work 3 hours a day and you'll be fine. I was watching Chris, what is her name? Kirsten? No. The lady who died with her 2 daughters and her unborn son. The guy from Colorado. The family from Colorado. I was watching her doing that health food stuff and doing the YouTube videos and all that. So, later on, so like I don't even know if I read this in the Bible, so I don't even know if it's even accurate that Satan wanted the power of God and that God had made a deal with Satan that Satan gets the earth. Like, no way you're going to be as powerful as me. So Satan took a bunch of angels and those became demons and he became evil, like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. And then God was in charge of heaven. So he said, no, you're not going to be powerful. So he fled. And God made an agreement that he can be in charge of earth. So that's why earth is so evil. That's why earth is so many storms and cancers and death and rape and poverty. And heaven is like the opposite of that, which you could be a godly person on earth and be victorious and have a finite life here and definite life in heaven. So Jesus, or the serpent, was trying to trick Eve to being all knowledgeable and being more knowledgeable like God, and God and Satan wanted to have the power and everything. He's just under God, but he's not as powerful as God. And God said, no, I am all powerful one God. So it's kind of like if that serpent was the devil, it would be similar, like he had tried. I don't know if it's... Again, I'm still reading through, you guys. I think I'm still reading about David. I don't know. I might be on Samuel. I gotta read a lot. Because I don't want to take something out of context from the Bible and try to understand it when the whole story's not there. And I don't want to take something that I heard during a sermon that's not actually in the Bible. See what I mean? There's some stuff that I believe is not. Like a bunch of stuff people talk about Revelation, I've said this before, bought every translation. I was going to get the Latin and the Hebrew just to be as close to the original translation as possible, because half the stuff I heard on the talk radio was not in the Bible. When I went back home, I would listen to the car and come back home and listen to it and not hear anything. My plan today is listen to God and rest. I have menstrual issues. I'm super tired. I feel like I didn't even sleep. I have this list. I'll just flash it up here. I added that I needed another $2,000 a month. I have all the ND states that are licensed, plus District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and U.S. Virgin Islands, and then Canadian provinces, which I don't understand. It just says regulations and registration. And then I have all of the states. So I got up until Virginia. I don't even know if I got to Virginia. I got up until Virginia, and I forgot the rest of the states. I literally forgot South Dakota, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Tennessee. I was like, I'm stupid. I'm missing like 9. I was like, oh, you know what? There's an issue here. There's 52 with DC, so I gotta figure out which one is duplicated here. One of these is incorrect because we all have. One of these is incorrect. I don't know which one. Oh, it's Wyoming. No. Anyways, I'm gonna write it out and do. People that do health coaching can make a whole heck of a lot of money in a day online distance. But as a physician, like in my state, I can't do healthcare for somebody 3 hours away without seeing them doing physical exams on them at least once a year. And then for certain things like medications or certain other things, you need to do physical exams. But telehealth is huge for MDs and DOs, and I've gotten a lot of emails to do that. But then they're trying to say, oh, like there was a unclear, I can't access this report on telemedicine unless I pay for it through my naturopathic association for my state. I'm kind of ticked off that I can't. There's a gray area, and it's like, go just do, if you do health, like I can't go to the grocery store and see someone that looks parched and be like, go drink water, and then they have CHF and they go home and drink water and their wife calls them 911 and then they're dying because they drank more water than their doctor told them, and the person in the grocery store who told them to drink water was that licensed physician and didn't know their history and made this person their patient because they gave them a treatment plan because they thought, like, do standard first aid. I read a story in the Oprah magazine of a young lady who went to the WA to see these shelters and detention centers, and nobody was being treated, and she found a room for the medications, Band-Aids, and all their medical supplies, and she just started treating all the patients as a medical student or pre-med student. I was like, oh my god, my medical school, like, they're just like, you cannot practice medicine without a license. But the hard thing is standard first aid. Like, administering medications is kind of shady, but first aid is like standard first aid, even if you don't have a CPR certificate. So, would I have to have, if I was doing first aid on the side of the street, would I have to say, could you sign this waiver to show that I'm not a patient-doctor relationship with you? Like, it sucks. It almost seems like you can do more with your knowledge. If I had the same amount of knowledge and no medical license, it seems like I could do more to help people. My goal is to help people. That's what I was going to say earlier, was I wanted to help people by getting help from God to help me and my family to be successful, victorious, and healthy and prosperous, so that I can go out in the world and do the work of heaven. And I feel like the more you go towards your goal, it feels like Satan tries to suck you down, because my goal isn't to just be selfish and then go somewhere and relapse and say I have enough money in the world, I don't need to be in AA, I'm going to go drink myself in a hot tub and drown in like a $3 million house in the West Hills or in the Riverdale neighborhood, or in Lake Oswego, what is it, Dunthorpe. Go get a $3 or $4 million house, which actually wouldn't be that big of a house, in the Dunthorpe neighborhood with the wrought iron gate around it, an automatic gate for my long driveway, a tennis court in the front yard. Like, I don't want to just, like, I wouldn't mind that house actually, but I don't want to forget about God and for His will for my life. And at this point in time, I feel like everything I'm talking about is so selfish. And again, leaving abusive situations and continually abusive situations, it feels like I'm still struggling in survival mode. Like, big time, like, I'm gonna go on eBay here in a minute. Big time survival mode. Big time. Oh my god, I just ordered $150 worth of stuff online. I ordered, or 200, some for my business, some for just household products, including toilet paper, and some other stuff for my patient's medical condition. I'm just buying stuff as is, and I just ordered another $30 of stuff for my own. So, faculty grounds maintenance job, specimen processing, wound care physician. Now you have to be an MD MD or DO. I was like, God, wound care was one of my biggest things. But every time I see those doctor jobs, I can't do it. I need to put that on my, I gotta get some different type of epi. I should have ordered that yesterday. I forgot. Oh well, anyways. I still haven't received a penny from insurance, so I'm gonna listen to God and do rest day. And I'm having a hard time ignoring eBay and this list. I'm going to make a page on my naturopath page, and I'm going to blog at least once a week. Like, even if I just say Happy Valentine's Day or Happy President's Day, I'm going to blog a lot, and I have a YouTube channel for my office. I might just switch it over, make the video like this, and just be wearing the same clothes, and just put it as Dr. Mia, and, like, not try to be like, oh, like the other day I was like, oh, I should make a video for my office, and I was like, you know what, check them out and go home, like, you have to go home. So today is the last day off of my 4.5 days off. I don't feel too happy because we never went to the dump. I never went to get to bed. I'm going to watch this lady's video and look for a bed. I'm thinking of getting a futon. The thing is, everyone's hiring people to bring stuff into their house. All these beds and stuff. And I don't know how they're getting it into the house. Upstairs, it's really tight corner. We had an IKEA desk. And we never had trouble with it. I think it was downstairs, other place, but then we brought it to my daughter's room, and because the angles are so tight and it's so small up the top of the stairs, I think that's one of the most stupid things I've ever heard of, is make a super tight angle on the stairwell. You can't fit furniture in the house. My family's house had a double front door and huge, everything was big, and it seemed like a short house. From college ceilings were tall. I just feel like it was. I found out at least people had king size and queen size beds upstairs. So I'm gonna see. I mean, the worst you could do is return it and get a refund. Like, I'm sure they can't get it up into your stairs. Like, there's no way you could take that window out. I was thinking of pianos, hoisting a piano in a New York City apartment, but something's got to change. The kids don't want to get rid of the antique bed frames or the vintage. I don't know what to do anymore. I need help, like, big time. Again, I've already spent all this money on the massage, missed work, all of this crap, and I don't know what to do. And my back has been killing me so much that I'm about to clear this exercise bike out and lay on. I used to lay on the floor a lot. When there was, like, bugs on the carpet, there's ants everywhere, and I'm, like, freaking out. Those things bite. And I have an ant infestation. So I ordered some more natural bug spray, and I got some bait traps I gotta put up. But my back, I'm sitting here, like, crying also because I'm in chronic pain 24/7, and it varies in degree, and I'm sitting here, like, clenching my jaw. I used to zone out for a really long time because of the car accident pain. Now I tell myself, Mia, just ignore it. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to take pills? Are you going to have surgery? Are you going to do the injections your chiropractor said to do? No. Why not? Because you're not going to take pills, but you're not going to do the other stuff. Why? Because you can't afford to pay out of pocket, and you have Medicaid, and you can't pay out of pocket, and you can't use your insurance to do stuff for car accident, because car accident should have paid for it, period. So I'm SOL. Bye.